everyone, Maurice and welcome to Things to Invest, where we talk about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's video, edited purposes only. The investment I'm going to talk about today would be Ethereum and Bitcoin. First, I want to say happy Tuesday, everybody, and happy June 1st, and I hope everybody had a great 3-day long weekend in the US with respect to the Memorial Day weekend. With respect to Bitcoin and Ethereum, yesterday was a relatively good day, right? With respect to Bitcoin, it was up about like 6.57%. And with respect to Ethereum, it was up about 11% at one point. Then subsequent later in the evening, around like 9 p.m., 10-ish, it started to sell off a little bit from there, from the peak of this 2750, which was the peak for Ethereum. And with respect to Bitcoin, it was up about like the 37,500, 38,000 level, selling down back to the $36,000 level right now. So today, as of this morning, we're currently Bitcoin's down about 1% so far, and with respect to Ethereum is currently down about 2% so far, respectively. So I'm gonna go through a technical analysis to see where do we see these prices going forward from here. I'm gonna see more of a sell-off going forward. I'm gonna see more of a pump going forward. What level of resistance we should be looking out for if you want a dollar cost average or build your position for the first time, and my price target for you in 2021 as well. So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis for Ethereum going first. So with respect to Ethereum, you could see that with respect to that one-time Black Swan events that we dipped all the way to the 1731, we subsequently bounced back up because this was a very strong psychological resistance level that we formed historically. You could see that we tested like at least 12 times historically, if I go back even more. And with respect to that one-time reversal, you could see that on May 23rd, we subsequently pumped up on the May 24th, up back to the $25,000 level, which is the level that $2,500 level, which is the level that we're currently at right now. And subsequent to that, we had another pump because of the fact that we sold off so much, that hitting all the way to this resistance level, that in the logic perspective, because of the supply and demand dynamics, it was so overstretched that whenever there's a lot of elasticity that goes back, it snaps back like a rubber band, right? And that's what happened, or any physics or momentum trades, that's how it's typically happening, right? So whatever bounced down really, really hard, hits the floor really, really hard, it bounces up equally with the same inertia and power going back up, right? And that's what happened. It tests back to the secondary resistance level of the $2,800 level, which subsequently we hovered there for about 2 days, right, on May 25th, and then also subsequently on May 26th. And ever since then, because of the fact, again, right, as I mentioned in my previous video, this is a very, excuse me, a very non-substantive consolidation level that we've formed, right? You can see that we've only formed it once, we've formed it twice, we've formed it 3 times now. But anything prior to that was non-existent, right? You wouldn't see anything with just a green candle up and away, right? Because of a lot of public investors trades. And subsequent to that, because of that break off, which was imminent and obviously very logical, and it was a very obvious sign that I've been mentioning multiple times in my previous videos, that we subsequently sold down back to, you can see that we sell down back to the $2,400, which is a good psychological resistance level that we've been forming, right? And you can see that yesterday, or on Saturday, we went down to the firm consolidation level of the $2,100 level, which is a historical, extremely substantive consolidation level that we've formed, right? You can see that we formed a bunch of times at the $2,100 level, and subsequently the $2,000 level, which is a very strong psychological mental resistance level that people typically just like to buy up, right? Because it's just a flat number, it's easier to buy in, people just like to dollar cost average from there, and knowing the fact that that's like a wall that people have been forming historically before that pump up, right? So anything that's formed as like a resistance also form as like a floor for the price for the stock to either go up or go downward. So from this case, it was basically a floor for you to bounce off of, and then subsequently that's what happened, right? You can see that on Sunday, right, on the subsequent days, on the 30th, which kind of trading sideways on that day, but until on Monday, which was yesterday, we had that relatively green candle, right? Because of the fact that we have been kind of just like doing this like pinball machine type of momentum right now. We're kind of bouncing from the floor, right? Again, right, the $2,100 is the floor. We bounce back up, and then bounce back down, bounce back up, bounce back down. So we're basically consolidating on a sideways level right now, right? And that's a really, really good sign. The reason I say this is because whenever we are doing sideways trades, it means that investors are contemplating, and there are a lot more long-term investors holders that are in this equation now. So that means there's less volatility going forward, until we get more confirmational news or more indicator from media publications or media affectations about like the global utilizations, about the adoptions on a corporate level that I mentioned in my previous video on my price predictions. So as we learn more about these news, the next catalyst is gonna kind of make it or break it, right? But in the meantime, if you're more of a short-term trader, right, I think this is a relatively interesting play for you to get into, right? What I would suggest that you guys can do, and this is something I might be even doing myself, knowing the fact that we're kind of forming this like spiral, this kind of zigzag type of trade momentum right now, that whenever we go up, to like the $2,750, which again is the psychological resistance level, you could sell from there, and subsequent to that, you'll go back down to the 2,450 or $2,100, which is a level of another psychological resistance level that you will be bouncing off of, right? So you could either buy at these levels at 2,150 or the 2,000 flat levels, and then sell at the top of the floor of the $2,750 and do that like consecutively, right? Keep doing it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you could basically, this is called swing trade, right? And this is something that's based on how it's forming right now, is a very logical play, right? And you might even ask, are we gonna go back down to like the 1750? Based on just the MACD, how it's forming right now, excuse me, something stuck in my throat. That based on the fact that the MACD's already, you saw that whole stretch off because of the whole sell-off that we've had. Right now we are consolidating, so the MACD line is slowly fusing together to build more anticipation and more, they're basically reserving more energy for the next pump right now, which is exactly what you see right now. So think of these are like two dragons or two power boats, right? That they're kind of like flying together, right? And eventually it's gonna collide and they're gonna cross path, right? So right now you can see that they cross path once and they separated, but they are slowly fusing together. It means that they are gonna meet at an apex point soon in the future, which is exactly what it will happen, right? You basically consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. By the point that the RSI is so oversold at that point that you deplete all the inertia, that you're gonna have a huge rally upward from here, okay? But based on the fact that you see that, the line are relatively stretched off, right? You can see how further out these lines are formed, right? So the timing around like when's the next rally, the next pump, I think we should be seeing that somewhere around, in the next couple months or so, based on how it's trending, but contingent on obviously positive media affectations and positive catalysts around the utilizations and global adoptions, right? So that's something we need to watch out for. So again, just to recap, first level to sell if you want to think about swing trading at the 2,750, level to buy with 2,450, right? If you even get down to the 2,100, that's even better opportunity for you to buy. I really hope we get down to the 1750 again, because that's an amazing price point for us to get into, build up for a long-term position, for long-term capital gains. So moving on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is relatively more stable in comparisons to, in comparisons to Ethereum, which makes sense, right? We were basically hovering around these levels yesterday. We were, like I mentioned, right? We were hovering around like the $37,000 level yesterday with that, one-time green day, after the subsequent sell-off that we have had in the last 2 days, right? On Friday and Saturday, because of the whole Friday scare off, people want to basically shift away from investing because of the weekend. with that whole vacation mentality and affectation that subsequently sold off from there and went down to that to the $34,000 level, which is a psychological resistance level, like I mentioned before. Like the 34,500 level is always a psychological resistance level that we've formed historically, right? You can see that we've tested this a bunch of time, and we're basically forming this like 4, 5, 6 times right here as well. So that rebound was definitely very logical and something that I mentioned many times already. So right now, I think we are basically doing the same sideways consolidation like Ethereum right now, basically doing like a pinball machine type of a sideways bouncing up and down type of trade. So if you were to like do a more of like a swing trade type of momentum, I think you could probably buy anywhere around like the the $34,500 level, and then sell at the at the peak, right, which is you could see at the 37,000 or the 39,000 even, right, just bouncing up and down, because I foresee us to be bouncing off of these walls going forward, right? And you could see that on the MACD perspective, we have crossed. You could see that two lines, the two dragons here, you could see that the lines are crossing upwards. So I do see more of a momentum upward, which makes sense, right? Because we still have like this gap to be filled, right? We went down from this escalator downward, but we need to retest the psychological resistance level at the 40,000, or somewhere around like the, to be more specific, like 39,750 level, and then slowly come back down again. So it's going to go from this level to the 39,750, and then come back down to the $34,000 level, and then gonna go back up to the 39,750, and then gonna come back down to the 34. So it's gonna basically gonna consolidate sideways for quite some time now. But with respect to the amount that you see in the dollar perspective, swing trading these, I think I would prefer to swing trade with Bitcoin over Ethereum, just because of the fact that, in a more of a risk averse profile perspective, I think it just makes more sense for me that way. Maybe I'm just a little bit more conservative and a little bit more risk averse, and that's why that's my approach. So again, right, on the MACD, we are crossing upwards, so I do see more bullish momentum coming, and then we should subsequently come back down again, right? Very similar to how you see in this area here, right? Like basically going down, go up, go down, go up, go down, go up, go down. All right, so just to go through the numbers one more time with respect to the breakdown of the entry price levels and my price targets. So with respect to Ethereum, I think the current price point of around like the $2,450 level, that's a good level for you to buy. That's a very strong psychological resistance that we've formed, right? If we get down even more to the 2,100, that's even more attractive price point. If we even get down to like the 1750, which is that black swan events that happens, right? That will be just an amazing opportunity for you to buy in, right? And with respect to my price target, I give this more of the green section here, the 20% of the corporate adoption. And if you want to learn more about what the corporate adoption means, I could go refer back to my price target video that I've done for Ethereum yesterday. That my price target will be somewhere around like the $95, $9,800 level, which subsequently would allow you to generate, if you're buying at this time right now at the 26, 24, $50 level, will give you more of a 4 times of your money upward in the next 12 months, right? And with respect to Bitcoin, you can see that the current price point at the $34,500 level, is a relatively good, fair price point for you to get into, knowing the fact, again, right, similar to Ethereum, that's a very strong psychological resistance level that we've formed historically multiple times now. I would say it's about 13 times so far right now in the last 6 months. So that's a very strong market appetite number. And if we even get down even more, I think the $30,000, that's a very attractive level. That's firstly a mental psychological level that people just buy because of the flat numbers that we have, but also because of the fact that that's in a valuation perspective is relatively steep on the discount, and also on top of that, that's a very strong consolidated base that we've formed historically. So if we go down, it will basically bounce back very sharply, right? However, if you even get down to even more of a further black swan crash like we've seen earlier last weekend, going down to the $24,000 would be amazing price point again, right? That would be just a dream come true for me. Again, I would probably liquidate some of my equity holdings in some of my other portfolio to buy at these levels. In respect to my price target, I believe that a 10% corporate adoption by 12 months in would make sense, and with that, we subsequently will allow you to generate a north worth of about close to six digits, right? 138,000 or four times your money from here at this current price levels. Right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the technical analysis that I did on Ethereum and Bitcoin today. Hope you guys all have a great day today on Tuesday, and a great week ahead of you guys. And please watch out for my next video. And again, please subscribe and hit the like button, also the bell notification to watch my next video. Really appreciate it. Take care.